It was supposed to be a routine financial audit, one of hundreds the FBI performs every year on pharmaceutical distributors. Nothing unusual, nothing explosive, certainly nothing that would end with one of the most respected pharma CEOs in America being dragged out of his penthouse in handcuffs while stunned employees watched from the sidewalk below. But that's exactly what happened. Because behind the smiling corporate photos, the charity events, the glowing articles in business magazines, this CEO wasn't running a pharmaceutical company. He was running a $900 million narco empire. And for years, no one had even suspected it. It all began with a discrepancy, a small, insignificant mismatch in controlled substance reporting from a mid-sized pharma distributor called North Star Therapeutics, headquartered in Denver. The company had been praised for its growth. Its CEO, Dr. Adrian Wexler, was practically worshipped in biotech circles. A former Harvard researcher, a philanthropist, a face that Congress loved to put on panels about ethical medicine. But in late November, a junior financial analyst at the FDA noticed something strange. North Star was ordering enormous quantities of precursor chemicals used in pain medication manufacturing, far more than comparable companies, far more than they could ever legally sell. At first, the analyst assumed it was human error, maybe an outdated inventory sheet, maybe a filing mistake. But a 48-hour cross-check didn't fix the numbers. They got worse. Billions of dollars worth of precursor agents were unaccounted for. And nobody, no distributor, no pharmacy, no hospital, could explain where those chemicals had gone. That's when the FBI got involved. Quietly, secretly, a task force was formed in the middle of the night. Agents pulled every file on North Star Therapeutics. They reviewed its supply chain, its overseas vendors, its shipping routes, and its tax filings. Dozens of red flags popped up immediately. Shell companies in Singapore, fake consulting firms in Dubai, missing cargo manifests at the port of Los Angeles, and sealed containers routed through ports where North Star had no customers. It looked like corporate fraud, but the truth was far darker. The first real breakthrough arrived when an encrypted shipment list was intercepted by a Department of Homeland Security system. The file listed dozens of medical pallets, leaving North Star's Denver facility at midnight. But the shipping codes didn't match any pharmaceutical authorization. The pallets were going to abandoned warehouses. Some were going to trucking companies that didn't exist. And 2 were headed to a cold storage facility controlled by a Mexican cartel outpost in Nevada. Within 48 hours, the FBI initiated full surveillance. Agents followed trucks leaving North Star's distribution center. They watched forklifts load medical supplies that, when hit with thermal scanners, showed dense heat signatures inconsistent with legitimate medication. But the FBI made the most disturbing discovery when they intercepted one of the trucks in rural Utah. Inside, under layers of plastic wrap and fake pharmaceutical labels, agents found barrels, steel, unmarked, sealed. Inside the barrels, a synthetic opioid so chemically engineered, so pure, and so concentrated that a single teaspoon could incapacitate an entire block. It was worth hundreds of millions on the street. And North Star Therapeutics was producing it. Not by accident, not through a rogue employee, but through a coordinated corporate system run at the highest levels of the company. By its CEO, Dr. Adrian Wexler. The FBI couldn't believe it. A Harvard-educated scientist spearheading one of the largest narcotics operations in North American history? It sounded impossible, absurd even. But the deeper agents dug, the more everything clicked. North Star wasn't a pharmaceutical company. It was the perfect laundering operation. A legal front with the infrastructure to receive precursor chemicals, the scientific staff to refine them, the legitimacy to bypass customs scrutiny, and the distribution network to ship products nationwide without raising alarms. For almost 6 years, Wexler had built one of the most advanced drug networks in American history, hiding behind FDA licenses and white lab coats. And no one suspected it. Until now. On December 6th, under extreme secrecy, the FBI raided a small research annex owned by North Star on the outskirts of Aurora. From the outside, it looked like a boring office building, windows tinted, grass trimmed, nothing suspicious. Inside, it was a narcotics factory. State-of-the-art mixers, pressure chambers, extraction centrifuges, vacuum ovens, all the equipment needed to manufacture ultra-potent synthetic opioids, far stronger than fentanyl, engineered to be undetectable in standard tests. In one room alone, agents found enough raw material to produce 30 million lethal doses. Next to it, stacks of false pharmaceutical labels, shrink-wrapped and ready for distribution. But the biggest shock wasn't the drugs. It was the security, armed guards, panic buttons, escape tunnels, a reinforced inner room with biometric locks, walls lined with sound insulation. This wasn't a lab. It was a fortress. And the question on every agent's mind was the same. Who gave a pharmaceutical company this kind of protection? The answer arrived 2 days later. A whistleblower, an assistant chemist terrified out of his mind, walked into an FBI field office in Arizona. He revealed the missing piece. Wexler wasn't just producing narcotics. He was partnering with multiple cartel factions, Jalisco, Sinaloa breakaways, even a Balkan group operating out of Miami. They gave him territory, global distribution, and muscle. He gave them chemistry, production, and perfect legal cover. A corporate cartel alliance worth nearly $900 million. By December 12th, the FBI had enough evidence to move. But Wexler wasn't easy to catch. He traveled with ex-Special Forces bodyguards. His planes used rotating call signs. His office building had escape shafts built into the basement. He moved money so quickly that Treasury investigators couldn't track it in real time. The Bureau needed the element of surprise. So they attacked his empire all at once. At 4:03 a.m. on December 14th, the FBI, DEA, IRS Criminal Division, and DHS launched simultaneous raids across 5 states. In Denver, federal agents stormed North Star's headquarters, seizing servers and shutting down the building. In Nevada, a cartel-controlled cold storage unit was raided, revealing $120 million worth of synthetic opioids labeled as medical-grade anesthetics. In Texas, a secret shipping hub used to route drugs through Mexico was dismantled. In California, 2 professors connected to Wexler's chemical research pipeline were arrested. In Chicago, cartel intermediaries disguised as pharmaceutical logisticians were taken down in a warehouse holding 2 tons of precursor agents. Every hour revealed a new layer of Wexler's empire. But the biggest moment came in New York. At 6:22 a.m., FBI tactical units arrived outside Wexler's penthouse overlooking Central Park. He was inside with 3 armed security contractors. The Bureau expected a standoff, possibly violence. Instead, something stranger happened. Wexler tried to destroy evidence. Agents watched through thermal cameras as he frantically dumped hard drives into his fireplace, smashed USB sticks with a hammer, and shredded documents until the room filled with paper dust. When the FBI breached his door, he didn't resist. He just stared at the agents, calm, calculating, almost amused, as if he had known this day was coming. He said only one sentence: "You're too late." Then he smiled. That line sent a chill down every spine in the room. Investigators scoured his penthouse. They found luxury, wealth, security systems, communications gear. But something was missing. The master list. The distribution ledger that tracked the entire $900 million narcotics network. A file the FBI needed to dismantle the entire operation. It wasn't on his servers, wasn't in his house, wasn't on any seized device. Wexler had moved it, and no one knew where. The arrests that followed were enormous. 138 people across 8 states, including executives, chemists, accountants, warehouse managers, cartel brokers, and a handful of corrupt customs officials. The seizures were staggering. 37 million illicit pills, 2.4 tons of chemical precursors, $118 million in cash, 21 bank accounts frozen, 5 secret labs dismantled. And yet the most valuable thing, the map of Wexler's entire empire, remained missing. The FBI is now hunting for the file. Some believe Wexler hid it overseas. Others believe he embedded it inside North Star's encrypted cloud system. A few fear he handed it off to his cartel partners before the raids. What no one can deny is the magnitude of what the FBI uncovered. A respected pharmaceutical CEO, a legal company with federal licenses, a perfectly engineered facade built to hide a multinational drug empire, a $900 million nightmare sitting in plain sight. And the most chilling part? This wasn't the only company under investigation. As one senior agent said privately, if a Harvard-educated CEO can run a cartel from a boardroom, how many others are doing the same? The arrests were massive, but the unraveling? only just beginning.